Hello and a welcome to the 2015 State Team Survey. We would like to update our information from those who attended the White House Reach Higher convening at San Diego State University last November, as well as say welcome to the team leads for those states that were not able to attend. So this survey gives all states an opportunity to provide us valuable and important information that will inform our accountability requirements and content design for the next convening that will be held in November 2nd to 4th in Florida this fall. So the purpose of this survey is to share our progress towards accomplishing commitments made by state teams, both at the SDQ-SU convening and those that were unable to attend but have made commitments nonetheless. We would like to identify states' relevant outcome data or matrices, identify areas for technical assistance that you might have, identify possible team members for the 2015 Florida White House convening. So the first thing we'd like you to do is select your state. So if I select my state, I think I'll pick California. Works for me. And secondly, are you the team lead? If the answer is yes, then we're great and you move on. If the answer is no, please enter the name of the person who is the team lead. And we will collect that information, and then we will make sure that that person receives this survey and can respond to it accordingly. If you do not have any more information to provide to us, then you can exit the survey at this time. So you could hit the closure button, the X at the top of the survey, and exit that survey, or it may automatically exit you for you. If you are the team lead, then let's take this out of here and put you in the yes category. And now we would like you to tell us, how have you revised or updated your state's commitment since November 2014? Now here, if you're a state that did come to the convening, of course we want to know, since coming to the convening, have you added, revised, or changed any of your state's commitments? For instance, maybe before you committed to some professional development, but now you're really working on state credentialing. We would like to know this, and we'd like to know the ways in which you're working on that. So please briefly describe it, and we can get more information from the team lead at a later time. If the answer is no, you've made no revisions, or you're a team that did not come to the November 2014, please indicate any comments you'd like us to know about commitments that your state has made, perhaps less formally, in this area. Since attending the convening and making state commitments, the next question asks, has your state made progress towards accomplishing your goals in any of the following area? There are 3 main areas and 2 sections in each area. The first area is standards, credentialing, licensing, or certification. So for instance, have you revised your state credentialing or certificate standards? Examples of this might be that you've changed your continuing education requirements for renewal of credential or certification, or perhaps you've upped the hours required for placement sites during fieldwork or internship. There are many ways in which you might have revised or changed your standards or credentialing for school counselors. If you've done that so far and made progress towards accomplishing this goal, please indicate that here and describe it briefly. If you have yet to make changes here, then you may put it no in that category. If you'd like to explain any explanation here about why progress is or is not being made, perhaps you're running into some concerns or areas you want assistance with, you can write that here as well. The next part you'll notice doesn't talk about school counselors, it talks about college advisors or college access partners. So if your state is working on standards, credentialing, or licensing or certification for college advisors, then we definitely want to know about that as well. Revising pre-service or in-service training requirements. That may sound a little bit similar to credentialing and certification, but you may be revising these more on a local level or a state level or through a professional association level that may not be an area that is endorsed through certification or credentialing yet. So we'd like to know if any of those revisions have been made for pre-service or in-service training for school counselors, as well as in-service or pre-service training for college advisors. Then we'd like to know whether or not you've had any revision of state policies, practices, legislation, etc. for school counselors. I heard of one state where they have legislated a large amount of funding for professional development. We would love to know if that's happened to you. Another state might have revised their ratio for school counselors at the elementary or secondary level. We'd like to understand if that has happened as well. So please give us your information in the yes category, or if it's in the no category, give us comments as well. And if you're aware of any other advances that are supporting school counselors or college advisors at this time that we haven't mentioned here in the survey, please let us know so that we can be aware and celebrate that, as well as share that with others. Question number 8. Has your state identified any matrices that measure student outcomes in college and career readiness? If so, please identify them here. And if you have not yet, please give us some comments about any potential issues, challenges, or concerns you might have in this area, or things you want us to know. As you think about all of these areas above, is there any area in which your team might need technical assistance? Maybe you would like to be identifying matrices, but you're just not quite sure how you would do that or how you would collect that data. You might want to know what other states are doing in that way. Or perhaps you want to revise a state legislation to do professional development requirements for school counselors, but you aren't familiar with what other states have done in that area. So this might be an area of technical assistance that your state team might value or appreciate that we can incorporate into our convening coming up in November. So you notice that I didn't check all the boxes here. I think I missed 1 or 2 up here. I'll just leave it as 1 or 2. And if you get to the next button, it's going to probably tell me something. Yep, yes, it sure did. You cannot continue until you go back and correct. So I need to go back and correct the ones that I didn't do. And I'll just put yes for now because I'm an optimist and hope we have a lot of changes. And let's see if we can move on now. Notice I didn't have to enter any descriptions. It's always nice if we have them. We would really like to get that information. If you do, yes, we may contact you and ask you what has happened. Cannot use the back button when taking the survey. So I did that twice. If that happens to you, just click on it like I did, and look, it took me to the next page. Sometimes there's a little glitch in it depending on how many people are using this, so be patient with it. Also, I want you to know that if you lose the link, or you have to stop in the middle, or you get interrupted, and you enter again, you will be taken back to where you were previously, and you will not lose your information. Just make sure you press save at the end, otherwise we will never get it, and you will still have it. Okay, once we've moved on, we would like to have you now identify state teams for the 2015 Florida convening. Please identify possible members for the convening. Don't forget to include yourself as one of the team members. And please list the names, work title, phone numbers, and email addresses. So there are 3 roles that are required. The first one is the person responsible for writing or establishing credentialing and standards. And if you don't have someone with that exact title, please check to see who might be the person with the greatest amount of state political power and connection to make that happen, because we really do want to know who that person is at a state level. And the title might be a little different in each state, so do your best. If you need to give us a comment, please enter it here so we can assist in understanding why that title might be a little different. The person who oversees school counseling programs in the state, please put their name here. Again, in California, we don't have a particular person that does that exactly. There are several people who might consider themselves advocates for and supporters of school counseling programs in the State Department, but there isn't one with that particular title. So we would probably want to recommend the person we think is most closely aligned with this work and add that comment here if the title doesn't seem to align. The person overseeing career technical ed, the same thing here. Again, the person you can get that's most closely aligned with the valuable, important work ahead of us. The next 5 of the additional state member teams and 1 alternate should come from any of these areas bullet points here, or any areas that are similar to this that are occupied, or roles that are occupied by people who in the state are leaders and advocates and systems change agents, policymakers, and implementers who can help make sure things get done. We know there's a lot of folks on the ground who really want to do this work, but at this convening, what we're really looking for are those people in the state who are our primary leaders doing this work in many different areas, And for those who can make the greatest amount of impact in your state, these are suggestions. Perhaps you want to bring superintendents and or school counseling director from a large school district. Perhaps you want to bring the College Access Organization. Perhaps you want to bring the State Department of Education member. Perhaps they have a particular passion for the work of college and career readiness and the counselor and college access partners' role in that. Perhaps you have a state leader in higher ed that's working on some important work at that level with all of your higher ed folks. So think through who might be the right people. Some of them may have come to the previous convening, and some states have realized after they came to the last convening that they actually had very passionate, caring people, but they weren't actually those who were able to go back and create the systemic change needed in their state. And as such, many states are having their own state meetings and including those folks while making sure that those in the positions to go back and lead that change at a statewide level are actually the folks whose names will appear on this list. So check with them. Make sure that they're available to come November 2nd through 4th to the University of North Florida in Jacksonville and put their names down on this list. We're hoping that the names we receive are those that will be invited, although that determination will be made by another team after this is submitted. So these names include a role group and a work role title and comments in this area that you might have to let us know why this person is the appropriate person, maybe because the role group or title might not align, but you can assist those reading this with understanding why that person is the right person for this work. So as you go through here, you'll see that there's an alternate section. And once the recommendations are reviewed and the recommended list of team participants is determined, then the invitation-only event invitations will be delivered and they will be non-transferable. So it's very important that you do a pre-check with those to make sure they're available to receive it, and then we can use the alternate name if necessary. The last question here says, is there anything else you want us to know? If there's something we haven't thought of is important for you to let us know that would help us in planning or for supporting your team, please put that information here. And when you're finished, you can press the next button. Now you're at the end, and there you are. All you need to do now is press the submit button, but before you do, if you say, oops, I forgot this important thing to tell you, come back here and maybe you want to enter something here, thank you, just in case. Then now I'm in here doing the next button and I will do my submit. And when I submit, you can see that I was redirected. Click here and you can see that, that I entered for California. There's my response. And this concludes our instructions for how to fill out that survey. Again, those who are invited will receive their invitation only invitation soon, and we are hoping you return this by September 1st or very soon afterwards. If you have any questions or concerns about this, please contact us at info@ncscps.org or please call 844-627-2771. That's 844-627-2771. We're here to assist you, and we look forward to seeing you in Florida. Have a great day.